Welcome to session 4. In this section, we will be deep diving into Inkscape. As previously mentioned, Inkscape is a free design tool. We will use this tool to start designing our own scalable vector graphics files. To start off, when you open Inkscape, you will see the Welcome window. Here, we can see different tabs, starting off with Quick Setup. The Canvas section allows us to change the background color of our workspace. The workspace is the section where we will create our designs. For the keyboard section, make sure to leave the default option of Inkscape default, Inkscape.xml. If you change this option, it might affect your ability to follow the tutorial. The appearance section will change the appearance of the icons, which might make it a little harder to follow the tutorial. Thus, we advise to leave it as default with the option of Classic Inkscape Default. The Supported by You tab briefly mentions why this application is free, and it provides additional resources to check out. The Time to Draw tab has default size templates that are helpful to determine the size of your design. Some examples are default sizes for laptops, desktops, iPhones, videos, and even images for social media. For now, we will start by creating a new document with no specific size. In order to do this, select the New Document option at the bottom right corner of the window. Once we select to start a new document, the workspace window will open automatically. The blank canvas is our workplace. Inkscape has tools surrounding the workspace. We have some shapes on the left, some object options on the top, a color wheel at the bottom, and some other general tools to the right. Every time we start a new document, we want to make sure to name it in order to keep track of our designs and versions. Select the File option at the top left corner of the screen, and then select Save As. A new window will pop up. Change the file name to My First Design _0.1. The file name should briefly describe what the document contains. For the Save As type option, leave the default as Inkscape SVG. Before clicking Save, make sure to remember where you are saving your file. I usually save my files under Documents. Now that we have saved and named our design, let's begin by finding our tools and learning some basic controls. The unit of measurement most commonly used among designers and engineers is millimeters, but that can be adjusted at the top right corner of the screen. For this design, I will be using inches. The size of our design will matter if we decide to use a 2D machine, such as a laser cutter or a CNC machine. As previously mentioned, we can use this application to design flyers, posters, and even logos for both digital and physical applications. If you are interested in changing more options in addition to the unit of measurement, the option for preferences is located at the bottom right corner of the workspace. So now let's start by creating some shapes. Inkscape allows you to draw rectangles, ellipses, polygons, stars, 3D cubes, and spirals. These tools can be used by selecting the shape from the toolbar on the left and then clicking and dragging them onto the document. The options on the toolbar at the top of the workspace will change depending on what shape you have selected. If you have trouble selecting objects, make sure you select the cursor option on the left. The options on the top will allow you to adjust the size, corners, and shape of the selected object. If you are interested in designing a shape or a custom object, we also have other tools that allow us to use different effects. The Bezier tool can be used in 3 different ways. If you want to create a shape with straight lines, go onto the workspace
and click every time you want to make a new line. If you want to create an object with curves, you have to click and drag. Finally, if you want to create a shape that has an opening or no connections, you can double-click to finalize your object. Next, the freehand pencil tool can be used in the following ways. You can click and create straight lines, or you can click and drag to create freehand objects. Next, we have the calligraphy tool. This tool is used by clicking and dragging. In addition to this, the strokes of the pen can be edited by the options in the toolbar above. Many things can be altered, including the width, the mass, the tremor, in addition to many other options. The text tool allows you to add text and annotations. Similarly to shapes, click and drag to create the text area. The styling and fonts of the text can be changed by the top toolbar. In addition, if you wish to change the color of your shapes or text, you can select or highlight the area you would like to color and select your new color from the bottom color wheel. Now, let's talk about some additional features. We can zoom in and out of our workspace by using the plus and minus symbol on our keyboard. If we wish to measure a shape, we can align our shape to the top left corner of our template or select the object and alter the dimensions on the top of the toolbar. In addition, when you select your object, you have additional scaling options. You can scale your objects by clicking and dragging the surrounding arrows. If you wish to rotate your object, you can do so by selecting the object, then clicking it. This will slightly curve the surrounding arrows, allowing you to rotate the object. One important tool we haven't mentioned yet is the Edit Cursor. This tool allows us to curve the edges of our shapes by clicking and dragging. Keep in mind that you will have to locate the small white circle on your shape. The rectangle includes the small white circle on the top right corner. The small white squares are for resizing only. Now, let's take a minute to focus on color. Color becomes really important in digital and graphic design. So far, we have learned how to color our shapes a solid color. Now, let's deep dive into more features. First, select the shape you want to edit. Next, underneath the color wheel, there is a section called Fill. This section tells you the current color of your shape. If we double-click the color, a new menu pops up. This new menu is called Fill and Stroke. Here we have the options to choose different gradients. This Fill section of the menu allows us to completely control the shades of our color by directly selecting the color values in addition to the transparency of our shape. The Stroke Paint section of our menu allows us to add a border to our shape and change the color. Additionally, the Stroke Style section on the menu allows us to adjust the width and style of our border. As a side note, all of the styling and color options are also available for text. In addition to all the tools we have covered so far, Inkscape also offers some advanced tools. The Tweak tool allows us to move or alter the selected object, and the Spray Paint tool allows us to draw multiple copies of the selected shape. Finally, the toolbar on the right side of the workspace offers some additional options. These options allow us to group or ungroup our objects. We can also reach the Fill and Stroke menu and the Text and Font menu. Since Inkscape offers so many possibilities with simple and advanced tools, one way to learn more is by trying all of the options and components. Additionally, if you hover over icons, Inkscape gives a short description of the tools themselves. This is a good way to navigate the tools that are right for you. Join us on our next tutorial where we will start creating our first project.